Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pistons Daily, your go-to podcast for daily Detroit Pistons content, game recaps, Coach T's keys, and real conversations about what's working and what's not with your Detroit Pistons. I'm your host, Tony Nash, aka Coach T, lifelong Pistons fan, and if you love talking Pistons, this is the right podcast for you. That's what we do here every day. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Share this with all your friends. We're trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the season. So help us out there. We appreciate you guys. So not much to talk about last night's game. This looked like a game that the Pistons just weren't that interested in playing. JB rested a lot of guys. I get it. We just clinched the number one seed. The only real thing we have to play for at this point is whether or not we want to go for 60 wins. Would be a cool milestone. Would be a cool thing to say, but does it really matter in the whole scheme of things? Is it better to have a rested team going into the playoffs? Not taking any risks, letting guys who are just bruised up a little bit have a night off. I think it was fine. We started with a crazy kind of weird lineup. We kind of wanted to see. I think JB was just trying some things to see. Let's see if this might work. Let's see if this is an option going into the playoffs. And he started with Jalen Duren, Paul Reed, and Asar Thompson, which meant no spacing whatsoever. And you saw Paul Reed kind of out of position a lot, trying to play off in the corner to provide space. It really clogged up the middle for JD. Nobody was stepping out on Paul Reed because even though he hit a three, he's not necessarily an outside threat. And of course, Asar doesn't really pull defense out either. And so the spacing was bad in the beginning, and that's why I think we just got off to a really bad start. We tried a lot of different lineups. Chaz Lanier saw quite a few minutes. Tolu Smith saw quite a few minutes. Obviously, JB adjusted at halftime, brought out Javonte Green, realizing that lineup was not going to work. But again, I think this is the type of game where you're just trying something. Also, I don't think the Pistons would mind playing Orlando in the first round. So maybe there was a little bit of that factored into this. And so really it comes down to four teams that we might have to play. That would be Charlotte. That would be Orlando. That would be Philly and Miami. Those would be the four options. And so I think out of those, probably Orlando is the one we would most likely rather play. And I think the one we don't want to play is Charlotte. Charlotte is playing the best basketball, one of the best basketball in their team is playing some of the best basketball since the first of the year. Kind of like the Pistons last year. They really turned around their season. And so, their defense is good. Their offense is good. That's probably a team we don't want to see in the first round. But we'll see how it shakes out and see how it goes. Not a lot to report about the game. The Pistons did make a great run at the end, sparked by Javonte Green. We cut it to within 4. And I thought, okay, these guys just never, ever quit. Again, up to that point, it was like they just seemed disinterested, kind of bored. And I get it. Again, this isn't a criticism. Everyone's tired. They're on the road. They've just clinched, it's Michigan's going to play after, so Duncan and Karras didn't want to play. They wanted to be ready to watch the game. I'm sure that's what it was. And so, yeah, I think just an off night. But, we cut it to within 4, and then Orlando kind of got hot again and took it back to like 16 or 18 really fast. And we ended up losing 123-107. Defense obviously wasn't great. Shooting was decent, 33% from 3. We shot 49% from the field. Jalen still had, Duren still had 18 points with 8 rebounds. Kevin Huerter had 17. He looked good at moments last night. Danis had 18 and 7. Javonte Green was 17 points. And I'll just say again, I love Javonte Green, man. He's my guy. I really hope. It just seems like he's that guy that we kind of are trying to figure out where we want to plug him in. We know he needs minutes, but, man, I just like him. I just like his play. I like his style. So hopefully he gets more. Orlando, Banchero had a great night, 31 points. I think he had 27 going into the fourth. Bane had 25. He was shooting the laces off the ball. And so, Orlando, no Franz Wagner. It was funny watching JD bully Mo Wagner. I mean, he just couldn't hang with him. But, we'll see how this plays out. We have 3 games left. We still technically could get to 60 wins if that's something that the team's even going to go for. I think 2 of those wins are, I don't want to say guaranteed, but we will see Charlotte one more time before the playoffs. So I'm actually glad about that. And, of course, Charlotte, they got something to prove. They are excuse me here. I'm looking up this stat. Charlotte, obviously Detroit beat them the last time we played, but that ended in that fight, and some guys got suspended. So Charlotte's going to come with some fire, and I think they need the win. So we'll see what happens. And then some good news about Cade and Stu nearing their return. Let me read this here, if I can pull it up. Cade Cunningham and Isaiah Stewart have both been upgraded to doubtful for the first time since their respective injuries. Good sign. Obviously didn't mean any of them were going to play last night. But Cade has missed now 11 in a row, Stu 14. They are working out. They are having contact practices. We may see both of them on the court yet before the playoffs start. And, obviously we don't want to risk furthering an injury. I'm glad that they're taking their time, but it would be good to get them some court time, get some rhythm, get some lung capacity, all of those things. But I don't think, there is a chance we might see them maybe in the last game of the season. I would be surprised if it's before that. Maybe JB will get them in just to play some light reps, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Not necessarily at a time, but throughout the course of the game, just to kind of get their legs under them and see how they do. But obviously, what we've been doing the last couple weeks without those two guys, and then you plug them in, that makes this Detroit team extremely dangerous, and I'm here for it. I don't know about you, but I am really, really excited about the playoffs. After Michigan winning their first national championship since 1989, I was 9 years old the last time that happened. I'm excited to see our Pistons go into the playoffs. We talked yesterday about Michigan's winning mentality, and I'm not talking about the University of Michigan. I'm talking about the state of Michigan, with all of our teams really being competitive. And there were times in my life where I'm like, man, it's tough being a fan of Michigan sports. But right now, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a fan. And I think you plug Cade and Stu back into this environment that's been just cooking for the last couple weeks. Those guys are both team guys. It's not going to be like Cade's going to come back and say, I want my 20 shots a night. Cade's a facilitator. Cade's a team guy. And the same thing with Stu. If Stu's got to play 10 minutes, he'll do it, and he'll do it hard. If he's got to play 30 minutes, he'll do it, and he'll do it hard. And the same thing with Cade. He's going to come in and find ways to gel with the team and help his guys be better. So I'm excited about that. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about them coming back. I've heard some people say that they're going to disrupt the chemistry and blah, blah, blah. It's nonsense. Listen, it will take a minute for them to gel, but obviously we're a better team with those two guys. And obviously the other thing, too, is when you are a player and you have to sit and watch your team do well, not only, you're happy for them, but you're aching to get out there. And so these guys are going to have the bug. They're going to have that excitement to play, which sometimes goes away in late February into March because it's a long season. So Cade and Stu being rested is going to be good for us, and I'm excited about it. And then FanDuel released yesterday the projections, odds for the 25-26 NBA Coach of the Year. Quinn Snyder is a plus 50,000. Charles Lee is a plus 25,000. Mitch Johnson is a plus 2,500. Joe Mazzulla is a plus 250. And your Pistons coach, JB Bickerstaff, is a minus 300. The heavy favorite. And I don't see how JB does not get it this year. To me, it's so obvious to take this squad. Number one, the turnaround in 2 years. That's got to factor into this. He was close last year. And then to be the number one seed from November on, the second best defensive team throughout the year, best defensive team since January. 2 all-stars from guys who were not all-stars at all 2 years ago. The buy-in that he's got, the culture he's created, the identity this team has had, the way they're winning games, winning with low three-point percentage and low free throw shooting percentage, and doing it the hard way, doing it in the paint, playing hard-nosed, physical, tough basketball, Detroit-style basketball. How in the world does JB not get Coach of the Year? To me, it should be unanimous, especially after this last 10-game span where everyone counted the Pistons out. They're going to lose their seeding. Some people were predicting them to drop as low as 3 or 4 because Cade was out. And JB and the culture he's created and the identity he's built just continue to prove itself over and over. And to me, it should be a lock. It should be unanimous. But we'll see how the politics of the NBA work. But let me know your thoughts about JB in the comments. I know when we've had bad games, some of you come in the comments, JB's not our championship coach, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we've had a lot of great regular season coaches. Flip Saunders was a great regular season coach. Rick Carlisle was a great regular season coach. Stan Van Gundy, great regular season coach. Dwayne Casey, great regular season coach. But none of those guys proved that they could win the chip. The only two guys that have ever proved that for the Pistons were Chuck Daly and Larry Brown. And, you know, there's a lot of great regular season coaches in the NBA who can coach their guys up to play over an extended period of time, to buy into a system that works. But then when the playoffs come, it's another level. Another level of physicality, another level of scheming, another level of readiness, another level of mentality, another level of film analyzing. All the things that happen, teams come every night ready to play you specifically, with a game plan to shut down your guys, with a game plan to run offense that your defense struggles with. And it's just different. And the stars show up during this time of year, even though they might take some nights off in the middle of the season. And so it is different. So JB still has to prove he can get it done in the playoffs. And I think he's a great coach. I think what he's built is incredible. But the jury is still out on whether he is a championship coach or not. And there are not that many in the NBA. If you look over the span of the league, it's not like there are hundreds and hundreds of championship NBA coaches. And so is JB in that class? I think he's there. I think with this squad he can do it, but time will tell. But anyways, I think he should be a lock for Coach of the Year. And then I want to end the episode today talking about 2007. They put up a graphic during the game, which I thought was interesting last night, that said the last time the Pistons clinched a number one seed, which was April of 2007, LeBron James had 8,439 of his 43,000 career points. And the Cavs actually went on to go to the finals that year. Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren had not even started kindergarten yet in 2007 of April of 2007. The number one song was Don't Matter by Akon. The number one movie was Disturbia, starring Shia LaBeouf. And the first iPhone was released in 2007. So I thought those things were interesting. I was a young 27-year-old buck with, you know, all the ambition in the world and the world ahead of me. And so I thought it'd be cool to kind of see what were some other notable things that happened in 2007. So I looked a few up. That was the year that Facebook went from just a college campus online sharing to a global social media icon. And talk about changing the world. I mean, there's a few things throughout history that have changed the world, and Facebook is definitely one of those things that changed how people communicated, how people shared information, many times too much information. But Facebook has certainly changed the world. I think the world was better before social media, even though my company manages social media for a living. That's what we do. We manage social media accounts for a lot of businesses and organizations. It's a great tool for business, but I do think the world was better before it. That was the year that Netflix went from just mailing DVDs to full-time streaming. I don't know if you guys remember getting the DVDs in the mail. That's how old I am. I remember we had the 2 DVD package. So you order, they send you 2 DVDs. You keep them as long as you want, and then you send them back when you're done. No need to rewind. And then you could order 2 more. But then they decided, they saw what was coming. They switched to streaming. And, of course, another thing that has changed the world, how we view television, how we view TV series, how we watch movies. Netflix changed the game. Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered that year. So who cares? But that seems like way longer ago, and it happened in 2007. The Red Sox won their second World Series since the early 1900s. Of course, they broke the curse in 2004. And then the movie Transformers was released that year. And so just kind of some things that made me feel really old, but also how long it has been since the Pistons have done well. I remember when we won in 2004 thinking, man, it's been 15 years since we won in 89. I thought that was a long period of time between championships, but this one has been 22 years since our last championship. So if we get one, of course, Michigan had their first one last night, go blue, since 1989. And so, but the Bad Boys won in 89 and the Michigan Wolverines won in 89. So is there a correlation there? I hope so. Man, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I'm hoping that we finish this last bit of the season with no more injuries. We go into the playoffs ready. Whoever we play in the first round, my hope is it's not Charlotte. I honestly would like to see Orlando, but whether it's Philly or Miami or Charlotte or Orlando, I think we can beat them all, and we should, especially providing that we're healthy. And so that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for coming along. Let's go take a night off. No basketball that I care to watch, and I know there's some NBA games, but after March Madness and after all the Pistons games and no Pistons games now, I think I'm just going to take a night and relax. But we will be back with you guys tomorrow talking about our Detroit Pistons. So we appreciate you. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Share this with all your friends. And as always, Detroit basketball. Let's go, baby.